Hey, what is up everyone, it's Crusade, and today's video is going to be a little different. It's going to be very segmented into more scenario-based scripted situations. I'm going to be using my friends for a lot of help in private matches, and we're going to set up some scenarios, as I said, that are already predetermined, but they will simulate, strategies and tactics that you can use, also to show in-depth mechanics with such as the pallet, how to use pallets and stuff. And I am going to go over the blood web and my strategy on that, and reiterate on the perks a little bit. And since the video is going to be a little shorter, I'm going to throw in a game at the end that I had stowed away. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the blood web here, and I think most of the stuff with the blood web and leveling is pretty obvious, but I'm gonna, tell you my strategy a little bit. It's a pretty basic strategy. But first of all, if you don't know, the inner ring in the blood web is all 3k items. The middle ring or second ring is all 5k, and the outermost ring is all 8k blood points. So on each level of the blood web, only one perk will spawn randomly, unless you are level 30, 35, or 40, in which case you get one of the teachable perks. Which teachable perk you get is random, but those are the levels that you get the teachable perks at, and that is set. Okay, so what I usually do when I first get a new level of the blood web is I immediately go for the perk first, regardless of whether or not it's bad or not. And the reason I always get it is because even if it's bad, I don't want to have the chance to get it on the next level. And if I don't get it, it's essentially wasted this level. But once I go ahead and get it, then I pick another item that I kind of want. So I kind of wanted this mystery box, so I was going for that. And maybe go for a third item if you really want it, but you really want to then just get the first ring. You want to make sure that the entity doesn't consume any of the 3k items. And so what will happen is once you get all the 3k items and the entity starts eating up the 8k items, you save yourself easily like 10,000, maybe 15,000 blood points spending to get to the next level. So definitely be aware of the price of these things. It's pretty expensive to level up, so I try to minimize the amount of blood points I spend on each wave. Alright, while I'm here, I guess I'll also talk about perks a little bit. I've already gone over perks some in one of my previous videos, but I'm going to reiterate, and also since there's some changes to a lot of the stronger perks. To be honest, the Holy Trinity still stands with Meg, Claudette, and Jake. That being Self-Care, Sprint Burst, and Saboteur. Those are the 3 perks that were nerfed because they're incredibly strong, and they're still really, really strong. Self-Care is now like 50% heal speed instead of 80% at rank 3. Sprint Burst is now 40-second cooldown instead of 20-second cooldown at rank 3. They're still really good, so don't discredit them because of the nerf. They're still really strong, and pretty much the ideal loadout is pretty much still the same, which is Self-Care, Sprint Burst. Then you could either run with a Saboteur, and I would go with Empathy. The thing with getting Saboteur is you'd also have to level Jake, and it takes a lot of time, so I'd probably go with Self-Care, Sprint Burst, Empathy, and then Small Game, because Small Game is really useful against the Trapper, and it's neutral, so anyone can get it. But yeah, that's kind of the state of the perks. Adrenaline is, it's okay. Most of these perks that I'm using are kind of filler, like Hope and No One Left Behind. They're just, they're okay, but it's just what I have to work with. You're probably in the same situation, and I guess I'll talk about Premonition and Spine Chill a little bit, because they are really good perks, and people are often curious as to why I never run them. Same with Dark Sense. These all fall under the same category in the sense that they are informational perks. So something happens and you get a little bit of information as to where the killer is. And I personally don't like that. It's just a playstyle choice, I guess. Because if you think about it, if you're, the most aware person on the earth and you always know where the killer is, like, premonition is completely useless at that point, because if you always know where the killer is, gaining any more information is useless because you already have all the information that you need. Now, that can never be the case because sometimes the killer is going to be behind a building or just, completely out of line of sight, or maybe you're in a cornfield and you just have no idea. And that happens to me occasionally. And then if that would be a situation that you're in, you could use premonition to look around and it would go off, and then you'd know which direction the killer was in, and that would help you out quite a bit. So I have a friend who uses this religiously, and he really likes it and it helps him out a lot. And I respect that choice. I respect the perk. I think it's really good, but it's just not the playstyle I want to go down. So that's just a preference on my choice. But if you want to use it, go right ahead. Same with Dark Sense. Or I don't think Spine Chill is as good as Premonition, but it's there. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention Dwight, because I did mention these three. And the thing is with Dwight is, he's a team leader, the lore and whatnot, and it's not really that good in solo queue matches, but we have Survive with Friends now, and he's actually insanely good with Survive with Friends, because you could have Dwight sticking with like one or two other people, and those people can like focus on generators, and then you could have someone like running a distraction or off on their own, and Dwight is going to help burn through those generators really fast. So definitely, if you're always playing with friends or whatever, you can definitely consider leveling Dwight and getting his perks that increase repair speed and whatnot. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to go over pallets in depth, and I want survivors to be able to know exactly how to control pallets, because if you make one wrong move with the pallet, it's going to cost you quite a bit. You're going to get hit or whatever if you end up on the wrong side of a pallet. Okay, so how the pallets work, there's pretty small hitbox. About here is where the hitbox starts. So, you have to be kind of close. And if you're just standing next to a pallet, like completely stationary, you're going to throw down the pallet and stay on the same side of the pallet as you throw it down. So if I'm on this side of it, I'm going to throw it down and be on this side of the pallet. If I'm over here, I'm going to stay on this side, so like so. Okay, so let's go to another pallet real fast. Now, the secondary mechanic of it involves movement. So again, I was stationary, so it depends just what side of the pallet you're on. Now, if you're moving, you're going to end up on the side that you're moving towards. It has nothing to do with camera positioning or anything like that. So if I'm walking and I walk this direction, of course it puts me on this side, and it doesn't matter whether or not you're walking or running. Again, it's just whatever side you're moving towards. So there is a situation, let's say the killer is right here in this on this grass where I'm standing right now, and let's say you're like right here and he's on the other side of the pallet, but he's walking towards you to hit you, and of course you want to drop the pallet down. A big mistake you can make is you walk towards the pallet and boom, since you were walking in that direction, you've now just put yourself right in front of the killer. So when you're walking up to a pallet, you need to make sure you walk up to it, stop, and then drop it. It's very specific in that, so definitely be aware, and that is probably the biggest issue, is walking up to the pallet and then dropping it, and then of course since you're moving in that direction, it messes you up a little bit and puts you on the wrong side that you don't want to be on. Okay, so when you're a killer and you're chasing a survivor towards a pallet, or you see them camping a pallet, normally I see a lot of killers running straight towards the pallet, and they try to, just bait the pallet. Usually they're smart enough to not get stunned by it. I The only problem with this is that, I mean, you're not going to get a hit on the survivor, and it's, you know, giving the survivor time that they need or whatever. Ideally, you'd be able to hit them. So coming in straight like this, it's going to be easy for the survivor to gauge when they can actually drop the pallet and stun you or whatever. Okay, so we have my friend here at the pallet, and again, if I come straight at him, he's going to be able to drop the pallet really easy. Of course, I could bait it and you drop it, and I wouldn't get stunned or whatever. But there is a little tactic that you can try to try and get a hit on him. If you see him and you know he's camping that pallet right there, and Derek is going to actually try to deter me from hitting him. So we're going to see how this tactic works out by cutting around here. As you can see, I was able to get that hit because coming around that corner so fast, I mean, there's no way you can really react unless you preemptively do it. One thing is that you got to be aware of is the red light. I was kind of looking in his direction, the red light. A little more advanced tactic would be to know where that corner is and look away and then turn and do it. But that's a little more advanced, so try to approach pallets at that sharp angle there, and you may start getting hits in. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to be talking about what to do if a player gets hooked in the basement, and for this to even happen, the killer does have to leave the basement at some point. So a typical killer thing, especially with trappers, he'll put a trap at the hooked player's feet, then he'll usually actually leave the basement. Usually, sometimes he'll camp in the basement, and that's unfortunate. You can't do much about that. But once he does patrol out of the basement, then you can kind of start the rescue. Okay, so here's that scenario. Player just got hooked in the basement. You sneak close. Maybe he's trapping at the bottom, right below the hooked player. And once you go down in there, you don't want to leave any tracks whatsoever that you're going down there. So you definitely want to walk all the way in there to make sure you don't leave a single track. The thing is a killer will always patrol back like he is now. And I'm going to hide back here instead of starting the unhook procedure. So left no marks. He doesn't, he just checked up and he didn't see anything. So, okay, there's a hitbox with this. The unhook is really far away for some reason. If you want to just go for the unhook, and you can do that. But you can, if you move a little closer to the disarm, you'll get the disarm prompt. So watch out for that hitbox. Furthest away is the unhook. Closer is a little bit is the disarm. So we're going to go ahead and disarm first. Because as soon as this gets snapped, it's going to be alerted, and I can unhook. And then of course you want to run out first and take the hit while you're running out in case he patrols back first. And then you successfully unhooked a basement player. Okay, so I showed you how to get the unhook with the disarm first, when there's a trap at the hook player's feet. And this time I'm going to be showing you how to do it with the unhook first. And you may want to do the unhook first if there's it's the very last second and there's not enough time to disarm the trap or something like that. You don't want to do this, of course, if there's honing stone in the trap. So definitely be aware of that and try and be careful. So again, you have to be close, and I'm not even able to get the disarm, or you have to be far away for the unhook. There we go. So disarm, unhook. If I can get it, there we go. So we're gonna unhook, and it's better if he gets trapped, but I get trapped here. And of course you're gonna help each other out, and then we're gonna escape. It is better if the other player gets trapped, so I think you can move away from it a little bit, but I think it's a lot of luck in the placement of the trap that the killer happens to do. So it's pretty much just luck on whether or not who gets trapped. Another cool little strategy or trick that you could do, it's very situational, and I don't know if I'd recommend it all the time, but it is the use of the closets. If you want to throw the killer off your trail, shift into a closet so it makes a very loud prompt for him, and then sneak out of it, and then just walk away. and try to get away from this position as quickly as you can. Of course, you don't want to do this when you're too close to the killer, because he can just grab you out of it and the jig's up. But that is something that you could do, something in your arsenal to help you survive and throw the killer off. Alright, so just a quick tip here, if you didn't already know. I know this is pretty commonly spread, and it's pretty easy to tell, but each killer that you go up against has a different stylized hook. As you can see, this is the hillbilly hook, and it looks like the base is made out of wood, and it has sheet metal sort of shoddily attached to it. So that's a hillbilly one, and this hook is the wraith's hook. As you can see, a wood base with like white bandages wrapped around it and some blood on there. Okay, and last but certainly not least, this is the trapper hook. As you see, the base is completely made out of metal, and it has a bit of metal pieces also attached to the side. And it kind of looks like, I don't know, the hook tip is also just straight instead of like being curved upwards. So definitely most important to know whether or not it's a trapper, so you can start looking out for traps. Alright, so hopefully you found some of those strategies and tips useful. And now we're going to go ahead and start up a full-length game here that I'm going to commentate on. It's going to be pretty standard, but I don't want to disappoint you guys and leave out some gameplay in this video. So let's go ahead and jump in that game here. Alright, so Torment Creek here on the Coldwind Farm. Can be a good map for the killer or the survivor. It's pretty hard to spot survivors in the cornfields, but once a killer hones in on you, and especially a good killer, it's really hard to shake them in cornfields. So you're kind of forced to abuse like window spots or whatever. But I just start off walking around, trying to spot the killer, but just being really cautious. I do walk around at the beginning all the time. Not because I'm trying to be cautious, I'd probably be sprinting more, but I do want to keep Sprint Burst saved up, as I've probably iterated in several videos. See teammate get injured, so I know I'm probably safe, but I am sitting on this corner to try and spot this guy because I'm hearing heartbeats and whatnot. So I spot him going over to the house, so I'm like, okay, it's more clear to get on this generator. So we're going to go ahead and work on this. Of course, if you have empathy of any rank or higher rank, you could see that injured player and see where they're running to, so you can get an idea of where the killer is. But he gets downed and we can see that, so we know the killer's over there. So we're just using our time here. Always need to be using spare time to get up generators. And of course, it's always good to be getting a generator with another player, because you actually get just bonus points, because I get 1250 repairs there and I get 366 co-op action. And so you just get 366 bonus points just for doing it with another person. But this player got hooked over here, so I'm running over here because I want to, start stalking this hook as quickly as possible. And actually, I'm thinking, he's pretty far away and he's stealthed, so I go ahead for the unhook, but it was a little early, and plus my teammate wasn't ready for it, so he didn't get a head start. And so he goes down pretty fast again, so I should have maybe waited a little bit there, jumped the gun a little bit. I positioned myself at that pallet in case he tries to chase me, and I could, knock the survivor out of his hands by dropping that pallet on him. But he gets hooked again. Luckily, he still has some timer left. And there was a player up there on that combine, and I didn't want to go up there in case the killer chased me, because I didn't want to, occupy that vault, and if there's two of us up there, one of us is going to get hit. But I saw an opportunity there, so I sprinted over there to unhook that guy, and he should get away here. And since everyone is at least on their feet, I'm going to, go ahead and continue doing generator. Get a little worried here. Of course, don't want to freak out too much and start sprinting, but I do just start walking around, spot him there, so I hide behind the tree. He walks away, so we're clear. And that is something to be aware of. If you see a teammate, hiding somewhere, try not to run to them, especially if they're near only one vault spot, like at the top of that combine, because only one of you can vault through it. So, I mean, You don't want to be hogging that and mess up your teammate. And of course, Wraith pops out on us. I'm hesitant a little bit here because I'm not sure where he went. Then of course he pops around the corner, so I'm able to get to that pallet in time. And I put myself in the center of that room because I didn't want to get close to a corner where he could pop out and get a free hit on me. So I run away and I walk up here a little bit, and I'm going to use this corner up here to kind of spot a little bit in hopes that he kind of walks by. This isn't the greatest spot to hide, or it's a good spot to hide because they usually don't randomly check. But if they see you go up here, and it is easy to spot you going up here because it's above eye level, it's really easy for them to cut you off when you go down this one way here. So definitely got to be careful using this spot, but I finally spot him there, so I'm okay. It's safe to crawl down here. And there's a generator over here. And of course I got some free time. Teammate gets hit, but I still want to just hope that he can distract and survive long enough. I need to be doing my job and getting this generator up. So we're going to go ahead and work on that. Pretty safe. Got pallets right nearby, 2 of them. Even though I am in a closed area, so he could sneak up on me pretty easy. And teammate gets downed, so that's unfortunate. Although we hear him bringing that player close towards us on a hook that's near this generator. So he for sure heard me working on the generator. Yep, he's coming for me. He completely realizes that there's a pallet there, and I crouch behind this corner just a little bit, and you know, he doesn't see me, so he turns around, but I can see him with that third-person camera. So abusing that camera a little bit. Comes around, you're stealthed, so I just keep walking because he was stealthed, so I'm not worried about getting hit. Continue to walk because I really want to save my sprint burst for if I really need it. Just gonna sit here on this pallet. He walks into it a little bit, and now I want to burn my sprint burst because I want to get a little head start, but I'm going to try and stick it here just in case, because there's a hook player nearby. And of course he's not going to commit to chasing me because he probably wants to guard this hook player a little bit because he knows we've been unhooking. So I can see him through that wall there because these walls aren't that great. Double-edged sword though, he can see me as well if he was paying real close attention. And I walk through that pallet because, you know, I'm always staying near a pallet, but teammate gets unhooked. He just, you know, goes off to chase them. Everyone's on their feet, so again, just gonna start working on the generator. And crisis averted. No more crisis management, so I'm just gonna go back to work. And just need one more generator, so it should be up here pretty soon. And just gotta hope that my teammates can survive for just a little bit longer. We know that at least one of the players gets instantly sacrificed. But pop the last one there, I get adrenaline. I'm going to run away, or run to the furthest gate here. Because, I mean, ideally you want to get both gates open. But, you know, I like adrenaline because it allows you to sprint to the gate and start working on it as soon as possible. Be it for a selfish reason of getting the 1250 points for the unlock, or to hurry up and open it for your teammate, get the killer there and whatnot. But I'm going to hide here. Of course he spots me, he's trying to chase me, but I juke him a little bit. Another teammate on that other pillar. And of course we distract him just enough for that injured player to mosey on by. And, you know, I'm just going to stick around because there's one more player. He's at full health. Stick around for a little bit. I don't really need to stick around, but I eventually do end up leaving. And that was that game. Again, pretty fast of a game. It was pretty shaky. I had to go for several unhooks, and we got a lot of downs, but we all made it, so that's the good part. And I guess we can just watch, you know, Jake escape here. Yeah, he does end up making it. And he ends up turning around and really making it through the fire and the flames. And he's off the map. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the segmented part of this video to get a lot of tips in. And of course I threw this game in just to get in some solid gameplay. And that will be all. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Do you think he knows? Do you think?
When did I
Wait,
stupid
stop.
land?
Everyone stop. Come
What?
stand right next to my locker. No, right in front of it, right in front of it.
Oh jeez.
Oh, I thought it was supposed to stun him.
Oh, get in his locker with him, Crusade.
What the fuck was
Get the fuck out of here. This is fuck.
Wait, go in there, Davis.
Okay.
Why can't we both hide?
Too fat, dude. Too many stickers.